that's just what the holds together. Just imagine the mum without the buds. I can't imagine. You'll be a totally different person. Oh yeah. Drastic. Really? Great. Health, there's no real nothing to get more excited about than that. Yeah. So no beer? But no big burners? Is that what the nurses advised you? Well, I think... Well, I'm always at work, Mom. Cool. Great.
So last year we had a fantastic year with HarbourCats.
What is it now?
So that's the way you turn. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we are welcoming Iron Wilderness Rhythmic Gymnastics Team. I would like to round of applause to them. I would like to introduce the Rhythmic Gymnastics Club here at the Corvallis and their class of girls of all ages and abilities. They are on happy to serve my coaches and high learners specialists. However, we need to do these experiences, strengthening, ballet, yoga, music, and
check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. HarbourCats and the Corvallis Knights set to get underway here at Royal Athletic Park. Pitch starting at 6:35. And I'm going to keep talking for a little bit longer to give Chris a chance to do a mic check so that the mic levels are good. And I'm hoping that's going to be enough. Text me, Chris, if that's not enough.
day for Oz. Not that bad. Not too fun.
Yeah, go for it.
I gotta have one.
Yeah, no.
Could you actually use that and ask Chris?
for the end.
We did already. Yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Royal Athletic Park for the finale of this three-game set between the Victoria HarbourCats and the Corvallis Knights. My name is Mike Edwards, behind the mic tonight as Jonathan Hodgson continues to get back to full health. The HarbourCats took game one in this series by a score of 4-2, but Corvallis stormed back last night and put 12 runs on the board to take it by a 12-4 final score. That means that tonight is the rubber match as both teams go for the series win, and it's a big game early in the season as the first half starts to wind down. Of course, a playoff spot is up for grabs in each division. The Knights currently in first place in the West Coast League South Division at 11-6, and we'll look at the Knights lineup here for tonight. Very similar to the first two games of the series for Corvallis, managed by Brooke Knight. Emilio Alcantar leads it off, followed by Taylor Travis and Jordan Cassar. 4, 5, 6 in the order did a lot of damage last night. Dylan Schrum, Matt Kelly, and Troy Clonch, they drove in those three 9 of the 12 runs that the Knights put on the board. So a very productive night for those 4, 5, 6 hitters. It'll be batting 7th, Cole Johnson, Darren Nelson batting 8th, and Chad Stevens, the shortstop, batting 9th. Facing that lineup for Victoria on the mound is Luke Boyd. He is getting his second start of the season. It's his 4th appearance. So far this year, Boyd has been very good, a 1-1 record, a 2.07 ERA in 8 2/3 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts to 3 walks, and has allowed 9 hits in those aforementioned 8 2/3 innings. Boyd is one of 3 Baylor Bears on the HarbourCats roster, along with Davis Wenzel and Tucker Johnson, who are both in the lineup in the field tonight. He stands at 6'2", 180 pounds. And Boyd, with Baylor on the season, had limited appearances. He started one game appeared in 7 in total, posting an 11.25 ERA with Baylor. 9 strikeouts in 12 innings on the season. The HarbourCats defensive alignment behind Boyd looks like this. In left field, it's Riley Zajac. Center is Ethan Lopez. In right, it's Jake Garella. From left to right on the infield, Davis Wenzel, Harry Shipley at shortstop, Cole Weiss at second, Tucker Johnson gets the start at first, and behind the plate, Riley Guntrip out of UBC gets the start, catching Luke Boyd. It's a beautiful day in Victoria, beautiful evening to come to the park and watch some baseball. 19 degrees Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. Clear skies, not a cloud to be seen. And summer is here. It's officially summer as of yesterday, and we are underway in Victoria with a ball up high from Luke Boyd to the leadoff hitter, Emilio Alcantar. Alcantar in last night's ball game was 1 for 6 with 3 strikeouts. He's one of the few Knights who struggled to swing the bat, but did score a run. Missing high again, and the count is 3-0. Luke Boyd, right, starting the game, having a little trouble finding the strike zone. And here's the 3-0 pitch to Alcantar, and it's in for strike 1. The home plate umpire tonight is Chet Massey. At third base, it's Phil Bourgeois, and at first, Joe Mallinson. And there's the walk. So Boyd loses Alcantar as the first batter of the night, and a leadoff base runner for Corvallis. So that brings up the 2-hitter, Taylor Travis in center field from Springfield, Oregon. Last night Travis was 2 for 5 with a walk and a run scored. And Travis goes after the first pitch into right field and down for a base hit. Alcantar is going to get to third, and the ball is bobbled in right center field. That allows Travis to get up to second. So threatening right away, right out the gate, are the Knights with runners on second and third and nobody out. And thanks to a walk and a single by Travis and then an error by the right fielder, Jake Garella. And now here is Jordan Cassar. Luke Boyd in trouble early, trying to work out of it. And misses low to Cassar on the first pitch, 1-0. You can bet the HarbourCats would trade a run for an out at this point of the game. Still the entire game to be played, so just some confidence for Boyd is all they need at this point. There's a strike, and it's 1-1 to Cassar. Cassar added to his impressive totals on the season. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored last night. And that brings his numbers up to 20 hits and 65 at-bats for a .308 average and 16 RBIs. The 1-1. Missing in tight. And it's 2 balls and a strike to Jordan Cassar. Emilio Alcantar walked to start the game. He's at third, and then Taylor Travis singled and moved up to second on the air. And Boyd will step off to regroup. This is a big pitch here on 2-1. Boyd has struggled to find the strike zone here to start the game. He needs to find the zone here. And swinging a foul, so the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boyd certainly did not want to fall behind 3-1 there to a hitter of Cassar's caliber with 2 runners in scoring position. Two balls and 2 strikes is the count. And here's the pitch from Boyd. This one is grounded foul towards the HarbourCats dugout. Still 2-2. It's ladies only night here at Royal Athletic Park. Men, however, were welcome inside the gates with a donation to Ovarian Cancer Canada Great initiative by the HarbourCats to raise funds for a great cause. Swing and a miss, strike 3, gets away from Guntrip. He's going to have to hurry, and they're going to have no play. So Kassar reaches base on the drop third strike. And a tough break for Luke Boyd, who records his first strikeout, but doesn't record his first out of the game. And that means the bases are loaded for Dylan Schrum. And Schrum did a lot of damage last night for Corvallis. He was 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. He hit a home run and 3 runs scored. That raises the average for him to 280 on the season. And the first pitch to Schrum. Gets away from Guntrip, coming in from third, Alcantar, and he is going to score. So coming across for the first run of the game is Emilio Alcantar, and it's a 1-0 lead without an out recorded for Luke Boyd.
Congratulations to Ezekiel and Heather. They are upgrading their seats thanks to Max Furniture. Number Section 11 row seats 3 and 4.
Up to second goes Kassar, up to third goes Travis. Not the start that Luke Boyd was hoping for to his evening. 1-0. Fouled back behind home plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1 the count, and here's the pitch from Boyd. That one just missed. 2-1. Dylan Schrum at the plate. Matt Kelly, who also had a big night in yesterday's 12-4 win, stands on deck. And the 2-1. That one well outside, and it's 3-1. Good hitters count here for Schrum. And the pitch. This one is swung on and hit to right field. Going back is Garella. Near the wall, calls it in for out number 1. Runner coming home is Travis, and he comes across to make it 2-0. But it is the first out recorded of the game for Luke Boyd. And that's a big out to settle him down. Also moving up from second to third was Jordan Kassar. So a chance here for Corvallis to put a free spot on the board without needing a hit. Kassar on third, Matt Kelly to the plate. Kelly, as mentioned, had a big night yesterday, was 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. He doubled and tripled in that game. Up the middle into center field, over to it is Lopez. He makes the play on the run. And coming in to score is Kassar. So another sacrifice fly. That's 2 of them here in the inning. And it's 3-0 Corvallis. The HarbourCats immediately got themselves down by 3 runs. But there are 2 away now in the inning for Luke Boyd. He's trying to work his way through. And nobody on base now for Corvallis. It's the catcher, Troy Clonch. He also went deep yesterday for Corvallis. Drove in another run with a single for 2 RBIs. Knight's bats really came alive last night, and good sign for them is that they have 3 runs here in the top of the first here tonight. Base is empty, 2 away for Clonch. And the pitch from Boyd. That misses in the dirt. Issue with the score clock. I believe it's 2-1. Make that 2-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Luke Boyd gets out of the first. But Corvallis puts up a crooked number 3 right out the gate to lead 3-0.
center field. Dayton Provo going back. This is over his head, and it's over the wall. Kevin Collard will touch them all. The HarbourCats have tied the game 1-1. Bonneau with a fly ball to right field. And this is going to go back and out of here. There's a drive to left field by Alcantara. This is up, and out! Grand slam for A.J. Alcantara. 6-0 for the HarbourCats. This is driven into center field. A base hit for Floyd. DeBoer in to score, and it's 3-1 for the HarbourCats. P.J. Floyd is 2 for 2 with 2 RBI in tonight's game.
Back here in Victoria for the bottom of the first, the HarbourCats find themselves down 3-0 before they come up to hit. And it'll be Harry Shipley who lead things off. He is at shortstop. Davis Wenzel bats second. Tucker Johnson at first. And the first pitch to Shipley misses outside. 4-5-6 is Kevin Collard. The DH, Riley Zajac in left field. Jake Garella in right field. Ethan Lopez in center. Riley Guntrip behind the plate. And Cole Weiss rounds out the lineup at second base. 2-0 count to Shipley. The pitcher for Corvallis tonight is Trenton Toplicar. Shipley into right field, and it's down for a base hit. Harry Shipley leads off the game with a single for the HarbourCats. And as mentioned, Toplicar getting the start. He has appeared in one game this season for Corvallis. This is his first start of the season. Went 2 2/3 innings in that one appearance. Did not allow a run. Struck out 3. Only 1 hit allowed and no walks. So very sharp. That came against Cowlitz on June the 17th. And so here is Davis Wenzel. And he looks at a ball on the first pitch. It's 1-0. HarbourCats trying to claw away at this deficit. Toplicar, a junior from San Diego, California, goes to California Riverside. Stands at 6'3", 205 as Wenzel takes another ball. It's 2-0. And the 2-0 pitch. Wenzel hits it well to left field. Looking up is the left fielder, and it is gone. Davis Wenzel touch them all. It's a 2-run shot, and the HarbourCats cut it to 3-2. The first home run of Davis Wenzel's HarbourCats career, and that's a big hit for Victoria to take 2 of the 3-run deficit off the board and cut it to just the 1 run, and that for sure should give Luke Boyd some confidence.
The first baseman from Baylor University, number 11, Tucker.
So here's Tucker Johnson now, still nobody out in the inning. The 2 runs in on the home run by Wenzel. And the HarbourCats looking for more. Johnson flies it to shallow right field. It is in there for a base hit. Johnson just able to keep it fair in front of the right fielder, Emilio Alcantar. And the HarbourCats have another base runner. Still with nobody out, and it's going to be Kevin Collard to hit.
Designated hitter from San Diego University, number 37, Kevin Collard.
Collard got the game off last night did not play, but back in the lineup tonight. The average at an even 300 for Collard on the season. 8 RBIs. And a throw over to first base. Johnson back in safely. Here's a look at the defensive alignment for Corvallis. In left field, Darren Nelson. Taylor Travis in center. Emilio Alcantar in right. Jordan Cassar at third base. As the pitch is in for strike one to Kevin Collard. Cassar at third. Chad Stevens at second. Chad Stevens at short, Matt Kelly at second, and Dylan Shrum at first. Troy Clonch is behind the plate working with Toplicar. And a check swing, called a strike. Didn't look like Collard went around, but it was in there for strike two anyway. It's Toplicar's turn to fight it a little bit to start the game. After that's what Matt Boyd did in the top of the first. 0-2. Collard got a piece to stay alive. Still no balls and 2 strikes with Jake Garella on deck. Going through the signs again is Toplicar with his catcher Troy Clonch. And the throw over, Johnson back in safe once again. Story of the game tonight might be which starter settles in first or which starter can give his team some length. Both Boyd and Toplicar getting off to rough starts here in their respective first innings. Off is the runner, Johnson. The throw down from Clonch is in time. They got him. A good throw down by Troy Clonch, and the tag is applied. Johnson caught stealing for the first out here in the bottom of the first. Pitch missed outside, so Collard is still hitting up there at the plate. But instead, with nobody on and now 1 out. That's a big first out for Toplicar to get. Collard hits it in the air to right field. Coming in is Alcantar, and he puts it away for the second out.
Now batting the right fielder from St. Louis University, number 20.
So here is Jake Garella. He's hitting at .213. 6 RBIs, 9 runs scored. Garella in last night's ball game was 1 for 5 with a run scored. And Garella takes high and tight for ball 1. In the bottom of the first inning, 2 away with nobody on. Already a 3-2 scoreline as Collard, or I should say Garella, takes a strike. Davis Wenzel going deep for the HarbourCats here in the bottom of the first after Corvallis put up 3 in the top half. And that one came in, it hit Garella, so he will be awarded first base. Garella walking it off down the line. Brian McRae comes out to check on him to make sure he's all right. Garella gives him the thumbs up. So that'll bring in Riley Zajac to hit with 2 outs.
Riley
Zajac taking the day off yesterday. But in game 1 of this series, Zajac hit a 2-run bomb for Victoria. That was a big hit in that game. Similar to Wenzel's home run, the HarbourCats were down 2-0 when Zajac hit it to tie the game up at 2. First pitch strike thrown across by Toplicar. Jake Garella on first with 2 outs. And the 0-1 to Zajac. Breaking ball coming back towards the outside corner, but missing outside for ball 1. Ethan Lopez stands on deck should Zajac reach. And there's a strike. Home plate umpire very definite with his strike calls. Chet Massey behind the plate. 1-2. On the ground to first, but it gets foul. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. 3-man umpiring crew here in this 3-game West Coast League Series. Each member of the crew getting a chance to call balls and strikes behind the plate. Massey, as mentioned, behind home plate tonight. Joe Mallinson was in the first game as Zajac strikes out to end the inning. But the HarbourCats get 2 back with a 2-run shot by Davis Wenzel, and they trail 3-2 at the end of 1. The Knights lead the HarbourCats after an eventful first inning at Royal Athletic Park. And 3 in the top half of the first for Corvallis. They'll look to add to their 3-2 lead here against Luke Boyd to start the top half of the second. It'll be Cole Johnson. He goes after the first pitch and rolls a single into right field. So again, the leadoff hitter aboard in the inning. Both teams got their leadoff hitter on in the first inning. Johnson, by the way, a natural pitcher, but also plays the field and has a chance to get in the lineup here tonight. And another pitcher who we saw in Game 1 of the series, Darren Nelson, on the mound, getting a start in left field tonight. He fouls off the first pitch. It's 0-1. Nelson standing at 6'8", 255. Lots of downward leverage for him when he's on the mound. But at the other side, at the plate tonight, the 0-1. Up the middle, hard hit, and a base hit into center field. It's away from Lopez, but the runners will stay put. Up to second base goes Johnson. Nelson has himself a hit. And there are 2 on with nobody out here in the top of the second inning for Corvallis. In an offensive-minded game so far, and the Knights looking to continue that here in the second. On the flip side, Luke Boyd trying to settle in for Victoria. First pitch misses high. Guntrip faked the throw down to second base, and back to the bag is Johnson. One ball and no strikes. It's the 9-hitter Chad Stevens showing bunt and then taking high. It's 2-0. Stevens last night was 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Swift fielding shortstop for Corvallis. Once again in the 9 spot. Pops the bunt up, but it's behind the plate. Guntrip can't get there. So the count goes to 2-1. Top of the order is on deck for Emilio Alcantar for Corvallis. And Boyd would much rather be facing the top of the order with 1 out and 2 on, as opposed to nobody out and the bases loaded. Here's the 2-1. Showing bunt again, popped up. Guntrip couldn't field it, had some trouble, and Stevens is going to reach. So Riley Guntrip just couldn't pick that one up cleanly out in front of home plate. And indeed, Corvallis will turn the lineup over with the bases loaded and nobody out. Threatening to score once again on Luke Boyd. Cole Johnson is on third, Darren Nelson at second, and Chad Stevens on first. Alcantar at the plate, takes low, blocked by Guntrip. An important block there after Corvallis, one of their 3 runs in the first inning, came on a wild pitch. 1 ball and no strikes. Taylor Travis waits on deck. And the pitch. Through the hole, a base hit. 1 run will score. Darren Nelson is going to be held up at third. And it's 4-2 as everyone moves up station to station. So 3 in the first for Corvallis, 1 more here in the fourth, and still nobody out with the bases loaded as the Knights look for more. And Travis has already singled off of Boyd tonight and came around to score. First pitch bounces to the plate, well in front of home. And Boyd has had trouble finding his command of the strike zone here through an inning plus. One ball and no strikes. And missing low once again. It's 2-0. And you can bet Travis up there at the plate is going to be taking until Boyd proves that he can throw a strike. This one is swung on, hit into center field. Ethan Lopez underneath it, and he puts it away. The throw comes into third, and it's not in time as both runners advance, and Darren Nelson comes home from third base to make it 5-2. Alcantar up to second, and Stevens up to third for Corvallis. It's their third sacrifice fly hit here tonight, so 3 of their 5 runs coming via the sac fly. Good fundamental baseball, taking advantage of those runners on third base and less than 2 outs. Swinging a foul tip back to the screen. 0-1. The hitter is Jordan Cassar. He's leading the West Coast League with 6 home runs. It was his teammates who did the damage last night for Corvallis, but certainly Cassar has done plenty of damage himself so far this season. Swing and a miss on the 0-1 pitch, and it's 0-2. Boyd looking for a much-needed out at the plate to keep the runners where they are. Here's the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, Guntrip blocks it, and it's 1-2. Corvallis with 5 runs on the board already. They scored 12 last night in a 12-4 win, and coming up in the inning break between the top and bottom half of the second inning, we'll show you the highlights, or at least part 1 of the highlights from last night. 1-2. On the ground to second, Cole Weiss up with it and throws out Cassar, but another run comes across, and it's another productive out for the Knights. Chad Stevens crosses the plate to make it 6-2. Kassar picks up another RBI to add to his total. And it's going to be Dylan Schrum to hit with 2 outs and a runner on third. Knights have 6 runs on 4 hits. They scored their first run of the ball game on a wild pitch from Boyd back in the first inning, and then got 2 more on a pair of sacrifice flies. Here in the second, they have a run on a single, that by Emilio Alcantar, and then a sac fly by Travis, and then an RBI ground out by Jordan Kassar. Nothing in 2 the count on Dylan Schrum. He was one of the 2 Knights who hit sac flies in that first inning, so has not yet registered an at-bat today. 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boyd needs to be careful with a couple of blocks already, good blocks by Riley Guntrip. And with a runner on third and 2 outs, you don't want to let the run come in that way. This one swung on, hit down the right side, and it's going to get foul by the HarbourCats bullpen. Still 1-2 on Dylan Schrum. Boyd sets and delivers the 1-2. In there, strike 3 called. So Matt Boyd gets out of the second inning, but allows 3 more runs as the HarbourCats trail 6-2. And here's a look at part 1 of the highlights from yesterday's ball game, a 12-4 win for Corvallis.
Right there, behind you.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to the Shaw TV Victoria HarbourCats Game of the Week. My name's Steve Duffy. I'll be providing the play-by-play throughout tonight's contest. Tonight we feature the Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Corvallis Knights and the Victoria HarbourCats. Next day, but laughed it off at the time. Here's the pitch and a nice swing, a deep swing, and that's gone. That's a 2-run shot as Dylan Schrum. And hope to take advantage of this situation. Nice cut, but gets out of the infield, and that should score Shipley. He's racing into home, and it's not even close. Another well-hit ball. And that's another home run as Troy Clonch, the catcher, belts a 1-run home run, which makes the score 3-1 Corvallis. Strong hit by Chad Stevens, and that's going to drive in the run. Clonch comes running in from second, and that makes it a 4-1 ball game.
Back here in Victoria for the bottom of the second inning, and it's Ethan Lopez to lead it off. Trenton Toplicar back out there for Corvallis. He gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits in that first inning, but the Knights bats have been giving him plenty of runs as Lopez drives a single into center field to lead things off for Victoria. And once again, the HarbourCats playing catch-up, looking to cut the deficit. They cut it down to 3-2 with a 2-run home run by Davis Wenzel that was an estimated 384 feet, well over the left field fence. Here is the catcher, Riley Guntrip. Guntrip, a second-year Victoria HarbourCat, returning player, and batting just .067 on the season. A tough start to the year for him, but as we saw in that both the first and the second innings, he's a very good defensive catcher with blocking balls in the dirt and working with this HarbourCats pitching staff. Throw over to first base, and Lopez back in. Here's the 1-0 pitch, but first another throw over. Tag is applied, but Lopez is back. The pitch gets to the backstop, and that will allow Lopez to advance to second base. So a runner in scoring position and nobody out for Victoria with Guntrip at the plate. And a 2-0 count. Chance here for Guntrip to try to pick something out that he likes. And here's the pitch from Toplicar. Guntrip on the ground to first. And the play is made there by Dylan Schrum. Over to third goes Lopez. So a runner at third base with one away. Already the Knights with 3 sac flies. HarbourCats with a chance to return the favor. Here with Cole Weiss digging in. Weiss, a utility infielder, has played second, third, and short this season. Great flexibility for head coach Brian McRae to insert him at any of those spots. He knows he's going to get a very strong defensive player no matter where he puts him. And Weiss has handled the bat well this season too, at 289 with 2 RBIs, 11 hits, and 38 at bats. Weiss looked at a strike, and it's 0-1. That one gets away a little bit from the catcher Clonch, but not far enough for Lopez to come home. On deck is the top of the order for Victoria, Harry Shipley, who singled and scored on the Wenzel homer in inning number 1. One and one. And that one just missing for ball 2. Weiss out of UNC Wilmington, going into his sophomore season there with the Seahawks next year. And Weiss looks at ball 3, so a good hitter's count here, 3-1 for Cole Weiss with 1 out, and Ethan Lopez on third. And here's the 3-1 pitch. In for strike 2. Weiss couldn't believe it at the plate. He, I think, thought that was ball 4, but the count runs full. Weiss having a chat with the home plate umpire, Chet Massey. And here's the 3-2 offering. This one popped up, shallow left field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Coming in from third is Lopez. He will score. The throw not in time, and Cole Weiss delivers with a bloop single down the left field line to make it 6-3. As once again the HarbourCats able to chip away. Both teams have put runs on the board in each of the first 2 innings. And it's the top of the order for Harry Shipley now. Already 1 for 1, led off the ball game with a single to right field. And Davis Wenzel, who homered off of Trenton Toplicar, waits in the on-deck circle. First pitch to Shipley misses off the plate outside for ball 1. And for Shipley, certainly his priority here is to stay out of the double play to allow Wenzel to come up and hit in the inning with runners on. Toplicar will throw over, and Weiss dives back in. There's a strike by Toplicar, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Shipley. Harry Shipley, one of 2 Purdue Boilermakers on this HarbourCats team, the other being Bryce Bonner. Bonner not in the lineup tonight. He's being used both as a catcher and at third base for Victoria. Shipley has made all of his starts at shortstop. The pitch it's just outside, and it's 2-1. HarbourCats trail 6-3, trying to whittle the deficit down further here in the second inning. 2-1. Running is Weiss, swing and a miss by Shipley. The throw down, and it is not in time. Weiss snuck in behind the tag by the shortstop Chad Stevens, and he steals second to put himself in scoring position. Again, a swing and a miss at the plate by Shipley to make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shipley has done an excellent job setting the table for the HarbourCats this season, hitting at .304. Had a hit in 4 at-bats last night with 2 more runs scored. And Toplicar comes set for the 2-2. That one in for strike 3 called. Looked like it might have been close to a pitch inside off the plate, but ruled a strike, and Harry Shipley is rung up looking for the second out. So here is Wenzel. His first time up, hit that 384-foot blast over the left field wall. It was a 2-run shot, so he's responsible for 2 of the 3 HarbourCats runs so far. Wenzel, a hard foul at the right field line onto Caledonia Street. Cole Weiss is at second. He singled and then stole second base. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss by Wenzel, and it's 0-2. Weiss on second, 2 outs in the bottom of the second. And that one misses on 1 and 2. Tempting breaking ball, but Wenzel laid off. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Toplicar will go through the signs once again with his catcher, Troy Clonch. Looking to get out of the inning, allowing just the 1 run. And the pitch. That one behind Wenzel and hits him in the back. So a hit by pitch extends the inning. Runners on first and second for the first baseman, Tucker Johnson. 3 runs on 5 hits so far for Victoria. 6 runs on 4 hits for Corvallis. They've made productive use of the outs they've recorded, Corvallis has. And a quick mound visit as the second baseman, Matt Kelly, comes in to have a quick chat with Stevens. So here's Johnson with 2 men on and 2 out. And looks at a strike on the first pitch from Toplicar. The DH Kevin Pollard in the on-deck circle should Johnson reach. And diving back safely into second base is Cole Weiss. There was no throw from the pitcher Toplicar. 0-1. Swing and a miss by Johnson, and it's 0-2. Coming up after the inning, we'll show you the second half of the highlights between Victoria and Corvallis in last night's ball game. Oh and 2 to Tucker Johnson. Reaching out, a soft liner. It'll drop in front of Kelly. He throws and they got him. A tough play for Matt Kelly. But the final out is recorded here in the second, and it is 6-3 through 2 here at Royal Athletic Park.
Squeeze play and nice steal home by Tanner Rempel to make it 4-2. And Porter socks one to right field, but Corvallis scores from third, and it's a 4-3 game. Well hit. Very well hit. Center fielder could not get it. That being Sam Cachola. That scores a run. In fact, it's a 2-run triple. And he gets a single and scores a run. And he turned the double play. A nice play indeed. Good relay. That gets them out of a jam, but the damage has been done. Hannah offers
Back
up a
here
fly
at Royal
ball,
Athletic
and
Park
it's
for the
going
third
to
inning.
deep center.
It is a
That'll bring
6-3
it
ball
at least.
game already in favor of the Corvallis Knights, and they have 5-6-7 due up here in the top of the third. Kelly looks at a ball on the first pitch as Luke Boyd back out there has had a rough start to his evening through 2 innings, has allowed 4 hits and a walk, 6 runs, 4 of them earned. Showing bunt is Kelly and pulling it back, but it's a strike anyway, 1-1. Kelly hit a sac fly his first time up. And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Boyd, and it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. In there, strike 3 called. As Kelly started his swing, held up, but it was a called strike 3, and that's a big out to the third to start the third inning for Boyd to get some confidence after the leadoff hitter reached the first 2 times up. It's the 4th strikeout already for Boyd. So although he's been struggling, he has been getting swings and misses. First pitch missed to Troy Clonch. It's 1-0. These Corvallis Knights coming into play today at 11-6, good for first in the South Division. Clonch hits it on the ground to third. This is going to be a tough play for Wenzel, and he got him. Good strong throw by Davis Wenzel to get the catcher, Troy Clonch. Granted, it was the catcher, so not the fastest runner out there for Corvallis, but Wenzel, nonetheless, with a tough play, made it look easy. And 2 quick outs for Luke Boyd. On the flip side for Victoria, they come in at 9-9, right at 500 and 4th in the North Division. They are 2.5 games back of the division leaders, the Kelowna Falcons, who, like the Knights, are 11-6. Both of those 2 teams tied for first place overall in the West Coast League. 0-1 to Cole Johnson. And that one in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. Boyd looking for a quick inning after struggling through the first 2. Swinging a foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Boyd is ahead here of Johnson. Still, most certainly anyone's game at 6-3. Plenty of baseball still to be played here tonight. And the way both teams' bats are swinging, this one is probably not going to end up how it currently stands as Johnson strikes out to end the inning. So a 1-2-3 third for Luke Boyd. The HarbourCats head to the home half of the 3rd inning, down by 3.
Leading off for your HarbourCats, the designated hitter from San Diego University, number 37, Kevin Collard.
6-3, the Knights lead the HarbourCats. Here as we head to the bottom half of the 3rd inning, Kevin Collard will lead it off for Victoria. He's 0 for 1 so far on the night. And Trenton Toplicar starts him off with a strike. Toplicar gave up 2 in the first, 1 in the second. He's allowed 5 hits through 2 innings, struck out 2. This one is lifted in the air to left. Darren Nelson ranging over into foul territory, and he's not going to get there. So Collard stays alive at the plate, 0-2. Four, 5, 6 for Victoria here in the 3rd. Jake Gorella stands in the on-deck circle, followed by Riley Zajac. This one hit into foul ground again down the left side, and again Nelson not able to get there as that one tailed out of play. Still 0-2 on Kevin Collard. Luke Boyd sat down the Knights in order in the top half. Collard lifts a fly ball in the air to center. Travis moving in a couple steps, and that's the first out here in the 3rd inning. So here's Jake Gorella with nobody on and 1 out. Knights would most certainly like to see Toplicar settle down here in the 3rd inning, just as Boyd did for Victoria. Corvallis managed to jump on Boyd for 6 runs in the first 2 innings, 3 apiece in innings number 1 and 2, and 4 of the 6 are earned on Boyd. Gorella fouled off the first pitch. It's 0-1. And another foul down the right side. No balls and 2 strikes now. Up the middle, and this is going to get down for a single for Jake Gorella. So the HarbourCats have a base runner. They look to chip away at this deficit. Zajac to hit now with 1 on and 1 out. Zajac, as mentioned, a 2-run home run in the first game of this series back on Tuesday night. Last night got the game off. And Zajac fouls the first pitch back. No balls and 1 strike. Zajac struck out one of the two strikeout victims for Taylor Toplicar. That was his first at bat, and it was the 0-1 pitch. First a throw over, and back is the runner Jake Gorella. Oh and 1. Gorella goes, and this one is foul off the bat of Zajac, so Gorella will be forced to retreat back to first base. Good crowd on hand here on this Thursday evening for ladies only night at Royal Athletic Park. Plenty of daylight with the longest day of the year yesterday and the first day of summer officially on June 21st. Shadows just now starting to creep onto the field down the left field line, but still plenty of daylight here. Strike 3 called on Zajac as he can't get the bat off his shoulders, and there are 2 down. So here is Ethan Lopez now to hit with a runner on first and 2 outs.
Number 25, Ethan Lopez.
That was the 3rd strikeout of the game for Toplicar as he looks to work around the single by Gorella for his first scoreless inning. 3 runs in each of the first and second innings for Corvallis, 2 in the first for Victoria on a home run by Davis Wenzel, and then 1 more in the second. That's where we stand right now, a 6-3 ball game in favor of the Knights. And this the rubber match of the 3-game set. Victoria taking the first game, Corvallis responding last night with a statement win. Pitch missed by Toplicar. It's 2 balls and no strikes to Ethan Lopez. And the pitch. This one up the middle and through for a base hit. Gorella is rounding second. He's on his way to third, and the HarbourCats have runners on the corners now with 2 away. And for Lopez, he is now 2 for 2 with a pair of singles on the evening. And it'll be Riley Guntrip now to hit, trying to drive in Lopez from third. So 2 more hits here in the inning for Victoria. They have 7 through 2 2/3, but only 3 runs to show. On the flip side, Corvallis has 6 runs on 4 hits. First pitch to Guntrip drops in for strike 1. Toplicar still able to get through a scoreless inning here if he can get Guntrip out. That one missing by Toplicar. It's 1-1. The HarbourCats, though, do seem to be seeing the ball well out of Toplicar's hand. Cole Weiss waits in the on-deck circle should Guntrip reach. And stepping off the rubber is Toplikar. One ball and one strike with 2 away and runners on the corners for Guntrip. This one in the dirt. Guntrip takes for ball 2. Two balls and one strike to Riley Guntrip. This one into right field. It's in there for a base hit. Past the second baseman, Kelly. The throw comes back into first. Guntrip dives back to the bag safe. And Riley Guntrip comes through with an RBI single to cut the Corvallis lead to 6-4. Guntrip just muscling that one out of the infield. Kelly almost ranged over to it, but was just out of his reach. And so the HarbourCats, once again, runners on the corners and 2 outs for Cole Weiss. And a 2-run game all of a sudden seems a lot more manageable than that 3-run lead. So Weiss has a chance to cut it to a 1-run game with a single here. That one was popped foul on the first pitch. 0-1. Cole Weiss came through with a loop single down the left field line that scored a run. His 3rd RBI of the season. Weiss lines this one foul right over to the Knights bullpen. And quickly ahead in the count now, 0-2, is Trenton Toplikar. Guntrip is on first. And on third, Ethan Lopez. Here's the 0-2. Running is Guntrip, and he's going to be out at second base. That'll end the inning. So Riley Guntrip caught stealing, but he comes through with a single to cut the lead for Corvallis to 6-4 on Go Live broadcasts. Back here in Victoria for the middle innings of this one, the HarbourCats trailing the Corvallis Knights by a score of 6-4. Victoria with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third. Corvallis with 3 in each of the first and second innings. And that's where we stand as Darren Nelson takes one high and tight for ball 1. Luke Boyd back out there, sat down the Knights in order last time up after 2 shaky innings to start his night. This one is just tipped off the bat of Nelson back to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Knights with 8, 9, and 1 here in this 4th inning. Swing and a miss, and Nelson now works the count to 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Luke Boyd delivers his 6th strikeout of the game, and Darren Nelson walks back to the dugout as out number 1. So here is Chad Stevens. He's 0 for 1, but reached and scored his only time up. Softly hit to shortstop. Harry Shipley up with it and throws across the diamond for quick out number 2. So 5 straight retired by Boyd starting in the 3rd inning. And he appears to have found his rhythm. HarbourCats are down by 2 in this game, and we talked about it back in the 2nd inning, but it still holds true. Whichever team can get some more length out of their starter might be in position to win this game with the way both teams are swinging the bat. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Alcantar shows bunt, but pulls it back as it's in the dirt. Alcantar 1 for 1 with a walk, an RBI, and a run scored. So he has filled the box score so far tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike. In for strike 2. Good movement on the breaking pitch from Boyd, who has appeared to shake off the early game struggles. 1-2. On the ground to first. Tucker Johnson couldn't glove it, and Alcantar is going to reach. There's always going to be a tough play on the backhand for Tucker Johnson. And Johnson making just his 2nd start of the season at first base. He's played elsewhere in the infield, but 2nd most of the time. So that'll be ruled an error on Johnson, and the Knights have a base runner with 2 outs for Taylor Travis. And here's the first pitch from Boyd. Running is Alcantar. The throwdown from Guntrip is not in time. So a stolen base by Alcantar. We saw him steal 2 bases last night. Certainly a speed threat on the base paths for these Knights. And he's in scoring position. Pitch was a strike from Boyd, so it's 0-1 on Taylor Travis. And here's the offering from Boyd. Bouncing in the dirt. Guntrip blocks it and did well to make sure it didn't get too far away, as Alcantar stays put at 2nd. Runner on 2nd base for Corvallis with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And the 1-1. Catching the outside corner for strike 2. Alcantar reached on the air, so Boyd is not allowed a hit since the 2nd inning, or a walk for that matter. 1-2. In the dirt, gets away. Alcantar going for 3rd, and he is in safely at 3rd base. Still a chance here for Boyd to get out of the inning. He just needs to focus on the hitter Travis at the plate with 2 outs. Two and 2. in the dirt once again. Guntrip, another good block. He's had to make a number of those tonight. Not easy back there being a catcher, but Guntrip has made it look a lot easier than it is on those tough balls in the dirt. Count is full to Taylor Travis with 2 outs. And Alcantar at third. Waiting on deck, Jordan Cassar for Corvallis. And the payoff. Grounded to first base, Tucker Johnson got a tough hop, but flips it to Boyd for out number 3. So a 6-4 Corvallis lead through 4.5 on Go Live broadcasts.
Who's the chair of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce. Al, great to be here. You're right here with all your group. Everybody cheering. Great group of the Chamber of Commerce here. Al, this is the 4th year we've done the mixer here. This is a popular event and one that you look forward to. It's a great event to have the Chamber group here. Come on, Chamber guys, yeah. We love it. This is a great community. We bring the weather and look at the date today. Summer's here. The Chamber always brings the weather together with the HarbourCats. We like to support the community over here. The HarbourCats supports the community. That's what we're all about, is the community. Through all of you, we can make this happen, so thank you for supporting the Chamber and the HarbourCats. And thank you for being here tonight. Thank you all. Thank you very much for having your group here tonight, and thanks for all of you for attending. Great night with the Chamber mixer, and Marissa, great pitch.
Now pitching for the Knights, number 9, Miles Glazier.
Back here in Victoria and going to break. Just an inning ago, I said it was 6-4 for Corvallis through 4.5. We're actually through 3.5 here at Royal Athletic Park as we head to the bottom of the 4th now with Cole Weiss at the plate. Weiss was at the dish in the bottom of the 3rd when Riley Guntrip was caught stealing, so Weiss would come back up to hit here to lead off the 4th inning for Victoria. And Weiss takes high on the first pitch of the evening from Miles Glazier. He's the new pitcher for Corvallis. Has appeared in 1 game this season for the Knights. Went 1 inning in that appearance, struck out 2. Pitch misses low. 2 balls and no strikes on Cole Weiss. Glazier did not allow a run, hit, or a walk in that appearance. Missing again is Glazier. It's 3-0 quickly to Cole Weiss. And at the time when Guntrip was caught stealing, Weiss was in the hole 0-2. Very different situation here with a 3-0 count for Cole Weiss. There's a strike from Glazier, and it's 3-1. Glazier will be heading into his junior season next year at California Irvine, a native of San Marino, California. Weiss with a swing and a foul back behind home plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. HarbourCats have scored at least a run in each of the first 3 innings so far. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 and more in the third. That one misses low and outside, and there's a walk for Cole Weiss. Once again, the leadoff hitter gets on for Victoria to start the inning. And that sets up the top of the order nicely with Harry Shipley coming up. Shipley showing bunt, but takes a ball on the first pitch from Glazier. again, Shipley showing bunt, but takes a strike. Weiss is on first, nobody out in the bottom of the 4th inning. 6-4, the HarbourCats trail. They have, though, out-hit the Knights 8-4. Knights haven't recorded a hit since the 2nd inning. 6 runs on 4 hits for them, 4 runs on 8 hits for Victoria. Two balls and 1 strike to Harry Shipley. This one down the left field line, but foul. Good contact by Shipley there. Hit a hard line drive, but was just a little late on the swing and couldn't keep it fair. Davis Wenzel waits on deck. And here's the 2-2 pitch from Glazier. That one missing for ball 3. And Shipley has ran the count full, as did Cole Weiss, leading off the inning. Here's the 3-2 delivery. This one popped up, and it is just foul. A little flare down the left field line. We saw Weiss reach on one of those and drive in a run with a very similar ball off the bat. Shipley this time, though, couldn't keep it fair. Count still 3-2 as Davis Wenzel and Shipley his bat. And Shipley will have to dig into the box once again. Always a heartbreaking feeling for a hitter when you think you might be able to just drop one in there and keep it fair, but then have to get back in the batter's box. Glazier will throw over to first. Weiss back in. Three balls and 2 strikes the count on Harry Shipley. And Glazier delivers. This one popped up. Shallow center field. The shortstop Chad Stevens underneath it. And he reins it in for out number 1. So it'll be Davis Wenzel now, and he's had a productive evening so far. He is 1 for 1 with a 2-run home run and was hit by a pitch his other time up. That was a big blast over the left field wall back in the 1st inning by Wenzel. Estimated at 384 feet. First pitch to Wenzel misses for ball 1. Cole Weiss still over there at first base with 1 out. And Tucker Johnson stands in the on-deck circle for Victoria. This one in the dirt. And it's 2-0. Wenzel ahead in the count, 2-0. And there's a strike. Good pitch by Glazier to get back in the count, now 2-1. And the 2-1 on the way. First going to be a throw over to first. Glazier paying a fair bit of attention to Cole Weiss over there at first base. And now comes to the plate. This one hit well into center field. Ranging back is Travis. And Travis will get back there to haul it in. A well-hit ball, this deep center field, but hung up for Travis. And Weiss retreats to first base. There are 2 down now for Johnson. The HarbourCats in danger of not scoring here in the inning for the first time tonight. They're down by 2. And already into the Knights bullpen with Miles Glazier, the first man out of the pen for Corvallis. First pitch was a called strike, and it's 0-1 to Johnson. And that's strike 2. So Tucker Johnson quickly in the hole, 0-2. And Johnson stays alive with the foul down the right side. Still no balls and 2 strikes as Glazier trying to work around the leadoff walk to Cole Weiss and get out of the inning. 0-2. Inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The DH Kevin Collard waiting on deck should Johnson reach. And the 1-2 pitch. Grounded to third. Kassar had a tough hop, throws across the diamond and got him. Nice play by Jordan Kassar. And the HarbourCats down quietly here in the 4th. Through 4 at Royal Athletic Park, it's the Knights 6 and the HarbourCats 4 on Go Live Broadcast. Jordan Kassar digs in to lead things off here in the top half of the 5th inning for Corvallis. And he takes high on the first pitch of the frame from Luke Boyd back out there for his 5th inning of work. Boyd through 4 has allowed 4 hits and a walk, but 4 earned runs, 6 total. 2 of them were unearned. And Kassar leading off the inning made a fine play at third base to end the bottom half of the 4th inning. Got a tough hop off the lip of the infield grass, but stuck with it and made a good strong throw across to first base. Swing and a miss by Kassar. It's 1-1. Two balls and a strike. And that one misses low. 3 balls now and 1 strike to Jordan Kassar. Corvallis with the meat of the batting order here due up in the 5th inning. And that's a called strike 2. Kassar looked just about ready to head to first. But the count now full. And a 3-2 pitch. Outside for ball 4. So Boyd issues the leadoff walk to Jordan Kassar here in the 5th inning, and it'll be Dylan Schrum now. Each of the first 5 batters in the order for Corvallis has an RBI, spreading the love around here with 6 runs on the board. Again, though, only the 4 hits for Corvallis. 6 runs on 4 hits for them. 4 runs on 8 hits for Victoria. They've doubled up the Knights in the hit column, but still trail by 2. Knights starter Trenton Toplicar just went 3 innings, gave up 8 hits in those 3 frames and 4 earned runs. Matt Glazier coming in, or I should say Miles Glazier rather, coming in for the 4th inning. The scoreless frame just issued a walk in that inning, and the throw over to first base back in safe is Kassar. 0-1 the count to Dylan Schrum. And that one comes in and hit him right in the wrist, it looked like, and that doesn't feel good for Dylan Strum. He will get first base, and up to second goes Kassar. The second hit batter of the evening for Luke Boyd. And out comes Mike Spears, the pitching coach for Victoria, to have a word with Boyd. Just a 2-run game, 6-4, Corvallis in front, but Boyd needs to hold it at just the 2 runs. And the Knights threatening here in the 5th inning with 2 on and nobody out. Boyd has also struck out 6 tonight. So he's had his strikeout pitches working, but both Boyd and Toplakar respectively allowing 4 earned runs each. Getting checked out is Schrum down the third baseline. That one looked like it came in and hit him in a bad place. In fairness, there's not a good place to be hit, but right on the wrist, looked like, from up here at least. Perhaps the forearm somewhere, but Schrum still chatting with Corvallis manager Brooke Knight, and it looks like he might be coming out of this game. We'll see. Again, it looked like it came in and hit him on the hand, wrist, forearm area, and he's still trying to flex that hand and see if he can feel all of the fingers, move them around normally. Looks like Schrum might actually be staying in. He was just waiting for his sliding mitt. That'll give that hand some cushioning on the base paths. So Schrum will tough it out and stay in the game. Always like to see that. You never like to see a player leave the game after a hit by pitch. Certainly no intent from Luke Boyd. So for Corvallis, it'll be the second baseman Matt Kelly, 0 for 1 with a sac fly and an RBI. He's hitting with 2 runners on and nobody out. First pitch misses well high, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Kelly was showing bunt that time. See if he's squaring around again here on 1-0. And the pitch. Kelly pops it up. Gun trip, couldn't quite get there. Matt Kelly popped that bunt up back towards the Knights dugout, well out of the reach of Riley Guntrip. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jordan Kassar on second, Dylan Schrum on first. Kassar walked on a full count to lead off the inning, and then Schrum was hit by a pitch. And here is the 1-1. This is a good bunt from Kelly, and that will do the job. Wenzel has no play. So Matt Kelly executes the bunt to perfection. Not only advances the runners, but gets himself a hit. And the bases are loaded with nobody out, and out comes Ryan McRae, and he makes the call to the bullpen. So Luke Boyd exits with the bases loaded and nobody out. HarbourCats trying to hold the deficit at 6-4. pitching change for the HarbourCats as Luke Boyd is taken out of this ball game. Not the start he was looking for. It looked like he had settled down in the third and fourth innings after a rough first and second. Allowed 3 runs in each. 4 of the 6 runs the Knights have on the board are earned, charged to Boyd, and he has loaded the bases here with nobody out in the top of the 5th. The hitter is Troy Clonch at the plate for Corvallis. And Victoria has a new pitcher on the mound. It is Liam Steigerwald. And the 1-0 pitch. In for strike 1. Ball and a strike to Clonch. Steigerwald, a recent arrival of the HarbourCats, has appeared in just 1 game this season. That was yesterday's ball game. Came in and worked a scoreless frame with 1 strikeout and also allowed a hit. And the 1-1. That one missing for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Jordan Kassar is on third for Corvallis. Dylan Schrum on second and Matt Kelly on first. 2-1. This one hit in the air to right field. Jake Garella back and hauls it in. This will do the job though. Another sacrifice fly for Corvallis, scores a run as Kassar comes home. That's their 4th sac fly of the game, and it is now 7-4 Knights. So here is Cole Johnson with runners on the corners and 1 away, as Schrum was able to tag up from second and advance to third on the fly ball to right center. Steigerwald, by the way, a native of San Ramon, California, going into his sophomore season next year at UC Santa Barbara. First pitch misses inside. Steigerwald stands at 6'4", 205. And here's the 1-0 pitch from Steigerwald to Cole Johnson. And again, missing is Steigerwald. It's 2-0. Johnson 1 for 2 on the day with a run scored and a strikeout. Hit hard and fair down the right field line, past the first baseman Johnson. 1 run is in. Digging it out in right field is Garella, and stopping at third is the lead runner. So another run tacked onto the board by Corvallis on the double by Cole Johnson. That was Matt Kelly over there at third base, being held up by the Knights' third base coach. So runners on second and third, and 1 out now for Darren Nelson. And Nelson also 1 for 2 today with a run scored and a strikeout. Here's the first pitch, and catches the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike to Darren Nelson. Now 8-4 Knights, doubling up the HarbourCats. Nelson hits it foul into the seats down the right side. No balls and 1 strike. Make that no balls and 2 strikes to Darren Nelson. And here's the pitch from Steigerwald. Well outside, and it's 1-2. Kelly on third. Cole Johnson, who just doubled in the 8th run of the game for Corvallis, is on second. And this one misses in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Darren Nelson. Chad Stevens, the shortstop, waits on deck. And the 2-2. Up the middle to the second baseman, Weiss. He's coming home, and it's not in time. Cole Weiss made an aggressive decision to come home, and sliding in before the tag was Kelly. So it'll be a failed fielder's choice for Darren Nelson that scores a run, and an RBI for him. It's now 9-4. So it's the 9-hitter, Chad Stevens, with still one out, and now runners on the corners. Nelson on first, up to third on that play was Cole Johnson. This one into right field, it's dropping and down for a hit. In to score is the lead runner for Corvallis to make it 10-4 as Nelson moves up to second. That was Johnson coming across for the Knights. And a big inning here in the top of the fifth after 3 in the first, 3 in the second, none in the third or fourth, but 3 more now, or I should say 4 more here in the fifth inning to make it 10-4. Up the middle and through again for a base hit. Nelson coming around third, he's being waved home. The throw home is not in time, and Nelson scores to make it 11-4. The hits keep on coming for the Knights after putting up 12 runs on the board last night. They have 11 through 4 1/3 here tonight. And Steigerwald misses in the dirt on the first pitch to Alcantar. 1-0. Emilio Alcantar 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, a stolen base, a run scored, and a walk. And he's had a busy evening so far in that leadoff spot. Alcantar takes ball 2. And Steigerwald is fighting it a little bit out of the bullpen. Came in his defense to a tough situation with nobody out and the bases loaded. Of course, that's the toughest spot a reliever can be brought into. But Steigerwald has allowed 3 hits here in a third of an inning. (11-4), the Knights lead the HarbourCats. And with a big 5th inning here, the Knights have evened up the hit count as well to 8 apiece. Swing and a miss by Travis, and it's 2-2. Taylor Travis is 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. And a foul tip. Unable to hold on to it is Guntrip, so it's still 2-2. Everyone in the Knights order has an RBI tonight. Alcantar in the leadoff spot has 2. The rest of the Knights hitters all have 1 run batted in. Here's the 2-2. And just getting a piece was Travis to stay alive. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. The HarbourCats took the series opener 4-2 back on Tuesday, but got blown out last night 12-4. Now it's 11-4 in the 5th inning. Knights showing why they are the defending West Coast League champions here in this series. This one's popped up, and it will get out of play foul. Of course, both these two teams had a great deal of roster turnover, so not a whole lot of players back on either side. But the Knights have have done an excellent job of recruiting elite level talent these last couple of seasons. In tight on Travis, it's 3-2. And Steigerwald in danger of loading the bases here with 1 out. Three balls and 2 strikes. Already 5 in the inning for Corvallis. And the pitch. And that one fouled off. Back behind home plate, still 3-2. As we'll do it again, Jordan Kassar waits on deck. Doesn't have a hit in this game, Kassar, but has scored 2 runs and has driven in another. one of 4 sacrifice flies the Knights have hit in this game. Time is called at home plate as Travis steps out. Steigerwald and the HarbourCats just trying to get out of the inning. Still a lot of baseball left here tonight, but pretty big lead for Corvallis. Into center field, Ethan Lopez brings it in, and that's out number 2. Both runners tagging, and dropping the ball at second base was Cole Weiss. Otherwise, it looked like he would have been able to get the tag in before the sliding Alcantar. So both runners are able to tag up and advance to second and third with 2 outs on the fly ball to center field. So here's Kassar with a pair of runners in scoring position, and he looks at a strike. 2 outs in the inning. And you got to figure, Kassar is 0 for 2. The season he's having, he's due for a hit here. Steigerwald's going to have to be careful. Here's the 0-1. That one bouncing in the dirt. Blocked again by Guntrip. He's had to make a number of tough blocks on balls in the dirt tonight. Has done a very nice job back there defensively. One ball and 1 strike. That one misses low. It's 2-1. Chad Stevens is on third. Emilio Alcantar on second with 2 outs. And Steigerwald delivers. In there for strike 2. Painting the outside corner. Nice pitch by Steigerwald to even up the count. And he comes set for the 2-2. That one missing for ball 3. Count is full, 3-2. It's been a long inning for the HarbourCats, but Steigerwald does have the base open if he wants to use it. Gabe Matthews has come out to the on-deck circle to pinch hit. And this one's grounded foul down the right side. Matthews would be pinch hitting for Matt Kelly, or excuse me, for Dylan Schrum rather. Schrum at first base tonight. Looks like his evening is over. Another 3-2 pitch. This one into right field, down for a hit. Kassar comes through, 1 run scores, the throw home not in time, a pair of runners score, the throw down to second is not in time either. And Jordan Kassar comes through for Corvallis to make it 13-4. Both Stevens and Alcantar coming across to score for Corvallis, and the HarbourCats still unable to get out of the inning. And it will be Matthews pinch hitting for Schrum with the runner in scoring position as Kassar was able to advance to second base on the throw home. Matthews lines it up the middle and down for another base hit. Stopping at third is Kassar. Throw gets away from the cutoff man, down to second, and out at second is Matthews. So finally a long 5th inning comes to an end with 7 runs on the board in the frame for Corvallis. They lead 13-4.
All right, fans, time to get on. Stretch out a little bit. We're going to play some heads or tails here. Let's go. Get the blood flowing. Everybody stand up. For those of you that do not know how this game works, it's very simple. I'm going to toss a coin in the air, put your hand on your head or your tail. If you're wrong, you sit down. Nice and simple. Tails, if your hand's on your head, sit down. Heads, if your hand's on your tail, sit down. Heads, if your hands on your tail, sit down. Heads again, if your hands on your tail, sit down. 1, 2, 3 here. Got a few still. All right. Tails, if your hands on your head, sit down.
Back for the bottom of the 5th inning, a long top half for Victoria. There was 7 runs across the board in the top of the 5th for Corvallis to extend the lead to 13-4. Way back when, an inning ago, it was 6-4. Certainly a manageable deficit at that point, but the HarbourCats are going to need to get some runs on the board and in a hurry to have a chance in this one. Miles Glazier back out there for his 2nd inning of work, allowed a walk and nothing else in the 1st inning of work for him. This one popped up into foul territory as Kassar, and he puts it away for the 1st out. So Kevin Collard pops out foul for out number 1. And it'll be Jake Gorella to hit now. He's 1 for 1. He was also hit by a pitch. Gorella has come around to score one of the 4 runs the HarbourCats have on the board. Two-0 count to Jake Gorella. 2 balls to start the at-bat for Glazier. This one is hit well into right center field. Coming on is Travis. He dives and makes the play. What a catch in right center by Taylor Travis, robbing Jake Gorella of a hit and perhaps extra bases. The Knights are firing on all cylinders. The bats are swinging very efficiently, and Taylor Travis showing off his defense in the outfield. 2 quick outs here for Glazier, and it's Zajac now. And no swing, says the 3rd base umpire. That's Phil Bourgeois over there at 3rd base. 1 ball and no strikes to Zajac. And this one popped up behind 2nd base. 2 fielders converging, and it drops. Chad Stevens and Matt Kelly both tried to make a play on that one and ended up colliding, which allowed the ball to drop in. So Zajac reaches 1st base with 2 outs, and it'll be Ethan Lopez now. Lopez on the ground to 3rd. Kassar with time, and that will end the inning. So Ethan Lopez grounds out to end the frame through 5 at Royal Athletic Park. It's 13-4 in favor of Corvallis on Go Live Broadcasts.
Seaverville Auto Services, the full service auto repair shop. See them at 3030 International Street.
A little hectic, sorry about that.
Top of the 6th inning here at Royal Athletic Park, a 13-4 lead in favor of the Corvallis Knights. As the last two games, they have really swung some hot bats and gotten to the HarbourCats pitching staff. A new pitcher for Victoria is on the mound here in the 6th inning. It's Taylor Prokopis, and he starts out Matt Kelly with a strike. Prokopis has been very good so far, an 0-1 record with a 2.61 ERA, has allowed 11 hits and 3 walks in 10 1/3 innings. Also has 9 strikeouts. And Prokopis has been one of the more relied upon arms out of that bullpen for Brian McRae. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Prokopis, a native of Sandy, Utah, headed for his junior season next year at Colorado Mesa University. Defensive replacement as well to tell you about at second base. Nick Maroney is into the game, replacing Cole Weiss. This one's popped up. Maroney's going to have a play on it, and he puts it away for the first out. And what do they say? The ball finds you? Sure did for Maroney. First out of the inning. The play is made on a lazy pop-up. Did have to deal with a little bit of sun. There's a bit of sun for him to contend with, peeking through the shadows. The lights have come on here at Royal Athletic Park. Just past 8:30 local time. And there's a strike from Prokopis to the catcher Troy Clonch. Cole Johnson waiting on deck for Corvallis. And starting his swing, but holding up was Clonch. It's 1-1. One pitch misses high. 2 balls and a strike to Clonch. This one's popped up, shallow right field. Back for it is Maroney, and he makes the play. Nice job there by Nick Maroney of taking charge of that one. And he has retired both of the first 2 batters here in the 6th inning for Corvallis. So it'll be Johnson to hit. Prokopis has also done a nice job with 2 routine pop-ups coming out of the bullpen. Swinging a foul by Johnson in on the hands on the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike, with 2 away and the base is empty. That one missing for ball one. Count back even at 1 ball and 1 strike to Johnson, with Darren Nelson waiting in the on-deck circle. Johnson at the plate and Nelson in the on-deck circle are both listed as pitchers on the roster for Corvallis, but they have 3 hits between them tonight, 2 RBIs as well, and 4 runs scored total. So pitchers who can swing the bat. Great to have those type of guys so you can rely on both on the mound and at the plate. 1-2. And that one fouled off. Again in on the hands of Johnson, just able to fight it off and muscle it foul. Bases empty with 2 away. HarbourCats looking for a quick inning. So the last inning was anything but quick. 7 runs in the frame for Corvallis. And another 1-2 from Prokopis. Down the left field line, that'll get foul. Out of play. We'll do it again on 1-2. Another 1-2 pitch from Prokopis on the ground to first, and that will get just foul. So Johnson doing a nice job battling up there. Not going down easily. A couple tough foul balls. A couple pitches in this at bat, well placed by Prokopis, right in on the hands of the left-handed batter Johnson. But it's still 1-2. And still a chance ahead in the count for Prokopis to try to get a swinging strike on something outside of the zone. Here's the pitch. Another foul. Johnson continues to battle. Top of the 6th inning at Royal Athletic Park, 13-4. The Knights lead the HarbourCats. Another 1-2 pitch. Hard hit to short. Shipley snares it, and he has time to throw across to retire the side. So a 1-2-3 frame for Taylor Prokopis out of the bullpen, but the HarbourCats still trail 13-4 on Go Live broadcasts.
All right, folks, up here in the grandstand George, we're going to do the Tim Hortons Coffee Cup Shuffle. Watch the screen here. Follow the cup and the donut there.
Bottom of the 6th inning at Royal Athletic Park, Bryce Bonner comes in as the pinch hitter for Victoria. So that means Riley Guntrip's night is over. Bonner will come in and do the catching duties the rest of the way. And Nick Maroney waits on deck. Back out there for his 3rd inning of work is Miles Glazier. He's done a nice job through the 2 frames. Allowed only a walk, and that's it. No hits allowed, no runs. Bonner pops this one up, and it's back into the seats down the right side, foul. HarbourCats won the opener of this series back on Tuesday night, 4-2, but these last two nights, the Corvallis Knights have really shown off what they're about, and the Knights, the defending West Coast League champions, have really been able to build a winning culture in Corvallis despite a lot of roster turnover each season. Not a lot of returning players as Bonner grounds out to start the inning. And that winning culture appears as though it's carried over into this season as they look to improve to 12-6 if they can hold this lead tonight. Good for first overall in the West Coast League. And the Knights actually in Corvallis, Oregon, play in the same stadium as the Oregon State Beavers, who are the #1 seed in the nation this year in college baseball. They're in the College Baseball World Series as we speak. They defeated the LSU Tigers in their last game on Monday. They have 3 days off and will play tomorrow against LSU again in the double elimination format that exists in the College World Series. Nick Maroney at the plate is ahead 2-0. And again, Oregon State 2-0 in the tournament and the #1 overall seed. So they look primed to take a championship back to Corvallis. Swing and a miss by Maroney. It's 2-1. And that winning culture that the Knights have most certainly stems from the Beavers playing in the same stadium. Missing is Glazier. It's 3-1 to Nick Maroney. Maroney is leading the world in hitting at 1,000. Came in as a pinch hitter last night and singled. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Good pitch from Glazier, and the count is full. Three-two. Maroney into right field, and that's another base hit. So Nick Maroney is 2 for 2 as a HarbourCat. And the Cats have a runner on first base with 1 out. And the top of the order coming up now with Harry Shipley. Davis Wenzel in the on-deck circle. And the first pitch to Shipley just misses for ball 1. The HarbourCats have any chance of cutting this lead or cutting the deficit. They're going to have to start pretty soon. A 9-run lead for Corvallis at 13-4. The hit total is actually even. Corvallis with 13 on 9 hits and an error. Victoria with 4 on 9 hits and 2 errors. 1-1. Swing and a miss by Shipley, and it's 1-2. We'll see how much longer the Knights stick with Glazier. He's pitched very well out of the bullpen. Nothing moving down there in the left field line in the Corvallis pen. One ball and 2 strikes. That last pitch was fouled away down the left side. And here's the 1-2 from Glazier. That one missing for ball 2. Maroney stays put at first base. That one in the dirt, got away just a touch from the catcher, Troy Clonch. Two balls and 2 strikes. And the count is full, 3-2. So if Shipley could potentially work the walk here, that would bring in Davis Wenzel with 2 runners on. Wenzel has already homered today, way back in the first inning. Hit a 2-run shot over the left field fence. Still 3-2. That one rolled foul down the first base line. Nick Maroney is on first base with one away. And another 3-2 pitch from Glazier. Outside for ball 4. So Shipley does indeed work the walk. And that'll bring in Wenzel with one out. Shipley on first and Nick Maroney on second. Wenzel has also been hit by a pitch tonight. He's 1 for 2 with the aforementioned home run. Tucker Johnson waiting in the on-deck circle for Victoria. And again, the HarbourCats still with a lot of baseball left, but they'll need to get something out of this inning if they want to have any chance of clawing away at this 9-run deficit. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Wenzel hits it well to center. Ranging back is Travis, and it'll hang up for him. He puts it away for the second out. Tagging and moving up to third is Maroney. So runners now on the corners for Johnson. Staying put at first on the fly ball was Shipley. And again, it can be done though. Like the HarbourCats just need a couple runs here, a couple runs there, and all of a sudden they're back in it. The 9-run deficit on the board looks like an awfully high mountain to climb, but still with 3 more innings after this to work with. First pitch to Johnson misses outside. It is a tough ask, though, to come back against this talented pitching staff of the Knights and a dominant bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Johnson, and part of that bullpen, who has pitched very well tonight, is Miles Glazier. Through 2 2/3 innings, allowed just a hit and 2 walks. Ball and a strike. Johnson back up the middle over the second base bag, and stepping on the bag is the second baseman Kelly for out number 3. Through 6 at Royal Athletic, it's 13-4 Corvallis. Back here in Victoria for the late innings of this one. 3 more to play here at Royal Athletic Park. And it's the Knights with a commanding 13-4 lead. They took last night's contest by a final of 12-4. They've bettered their run total from last night, have 13 on the board on 9 hits. HarbourCats have 4 on 9 hits. HarbourCats have put the ball in play tonight. They've only struck out 3 times, and they've hit the ball well too with the 9 hits, as I just mentioned, but the bats for Corvallis were just too much. Nelson hits it on the ground to second. Nick Maroney, nice play for out number 1. And Maroney has been tested now 3 times. Looked good coming in as a defensive replacement at second base for Cole Weiss. This is his second appearance, came in as a pinch hitter last night. Pinch hitter for Corvallis here for the shortstop Chad Stevens. It'll be Jack Kuzma taking over at short. Kuzma got the start in game 1 of the series, did not play last night. Ball and a strike as Taylor Prokopis is back out there for Victoria in his second inning of work. And here is the 1-1. That one missing. Bryce Bonner as well, as expected, has taken over behind the plate for Riley Guntrip after hitting for Guntrip in the bottom half of the 6th. 2-1. High for ball 3. Kuzma yet to let it loose in this at-bat and has worked a good hitter's count, 3-1. Base is empty with 1 away. And the top of the order coming up. 3-1. And a hard foul. Hope everyone's okay down there onto the concourse. That one just avoiding the netting, just a touch higher than that protective netting in behind the HarbourCats dugout down that right side. Counts full. And that's the walk. So Kuzma comes off the bench and draws a walk from Taylor Prokopis. And that will turn over the order to Emilio Alcantar, who's had a productive day. Keeps adding to his line every time he comes up. He has 2 hits in 3 at-bats, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, a walk, and a stolen base. This one popped up into foul territory and out of reach for Davis Wenzel. Second pitch of the at-bat misses for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Emilio Alcantar. Prokopis retired the Knights in order in the top half of the 6th. Just now gave up his first base runner with the walk to Jack Kuzma. Last pitch was fouled off. It's 1-2 to Alcantar. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, and held onto by Bonner. No, it gets away from him, they say. It'll be a foul ball, so... Or no, ruled a strikeout. A little bit of confusion there after that pitch. It got away from Bonner, but ruled a strikeout, and back to the dugout goes Alcantar. So it'll be Taylor Travis to hit, with Kuzma on first and 2 away. Top of the 7th inning, a 13-4 Corvallis Knights lead. One ball and no strikes to Travis. And the 1-0 pitch is in there for strike 1. Nice pitch catching the outer half by Taylor Prokopis. Jordan Cassar stands in the on-deck circle should Travis reach. On the ground, Shipley at short goes the short way to Maroney covering second, and that's the inning. So another good inning for Prokopis, but the HarbourCats still trail by 9.
All right, fans, time for the 7th stretch. Go ahead, stand up, stretch out.
Tanner Rempel will lead off the bottom half of the 7th inning. He is coming in to hit for Kevin Collard. HarbourCats trail by a score of 13-4 with 9 more outs to work with. So if it's gonna be a comeback tonight, they're gonna have to start right about now. 1 ball and no strike, and it's swung on and missed for a 1-1 count. And Glazier misses inside. 2 balls and 3 very good innings for Miles Glazier. No runs, 1 hit allowed, and 2 walks. And there's a strike to even up the count at 2-2 on Rempel. Rempel has had 8 at-bats with the HarbourCats so far, has not yet registered his first hit in a HarbourCats uniform. This one is skied in the air to right. This could be a tough play, and a nice play made by Matt Kelly, ranging back into right field. Coming on was the right fielder Alcantar, but Kelly was able to get a good beat on it. So here is Jake Gorella with 1 out. And that's been a big key for Glazier, getting those leadoff hitters out to start the frame. And that really puts a damper on any rally attempt for the HarbourCats. This one hit weakly to short, bobbled, and the throw in the dirt picked out by Matthews. As Jack Kuzma makes his first play of the ball game, coming in after pinch hitting for the shortstop Chad Stevens. So here is Riley Zajac now. They say pro athletes in general, but especially baseball players, are creatures of habit, and Zajac appears to be one of those, starting the season at a 218 average on the year with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. In his college season at UNCW, as Zajac launches a hard foul down the right field line. But at UNCW this year, Zajac hit 218 with 5 home runs and 13 RBIs in a little more than double the at-bats that he's had here in Victoria. So with 5 home runs and 13 RBIs, that is, for Zajac at UNCW. So replicating the same sort of numbers that we saw from him this past college season here at the West Coast League level. Pitch misses outside. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Zajac. Batting with 2 away and nobody on for Victoria. This one a slow roller to second. Matt Kelly makes the play, and that's the inning. Miles Glazer sits down the HarbourCats in order in the 7th, and Victoria still trails 13-4 on Go Live broadcasts. Top half of the 9th inning and a 13-4 lead in favor of the Corvallis Knights. It's Jordan Cassar leading off the frame for the Knights. And Cassar swings at the first pitch. That's a fair ball, bobbled by Johnson, and they're going to have no play. So Cassar reaches. That'll be most likely an error charge to Johnson. And if it is, that'll be his 2nd error of the game. A new pitcher for Victoria, it's Rad Thomas from Newcastle, California, a freshman out of UC Santa Barbara, and he appeared in the ball game last night. That was his first appearance of the season. Tossed a scoreless inning with a strikeout, didn't allow a hit or a walk. First pitch gets to the backstop, but the ricochet comes right back to Bonner behind the plate, and that'll hold Cassar at first. Both Rad Thomas and Liam Steigerwald out of UC Santa Barbara arriving yesterday, and with the blowout, 12-4 victory for Corvallis, that allowed Brian McRae to insert both into the ball game and get his first look. Here's one lifted in the air, left center field, and it's Zajac making the play. Strong throw back into first, but Cassar retreats back to the bag. Riley Zajac showing off the arm there, getting it all the way from near the wall in left center, almost to the first base bag. So 1 out for Rad Thomas after Cassar reached on the air to lead off the inning. This one is popped foul in behind Johnson at first base. No balls and 1 strike. After the conclusion of this series, the HarbourCats will start up another 3-game set over the weekend here at Royal Athletic Park against the Walla Walla Sweets. Bryce Bonner blocks that one and keeps it in his glove. It's 1-1 to Matt Kelly. The Sweets swept the HarbourCats on the road in the away series for Victoria last week. So Victoria looking for some revenge in that series. And we'll be looking to bounce back in Game 1 tomorrow night after getting blown out twice in a row, assuming there is no comeback in the last 2 innings for Victoria. Pitch gets away from Bonner to the backstop, and that will allow Kassar to advance up to second base. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count now to Kelly. On the flip side for Corvallis, they will return home to host the Bellingham Bells in a big showdown. The Bells are traditionally a very good team in the West Coast League, known for their pitching. This one is hit in the air to center. Now right center field, it'll be Garella taking charge of it for out number 2. And the Bells are at 10-7. Knights, if they can hold on to this lead, will be at 12-6. So 2 of the top 3 teams in the West Coast League meeting up starting tomorrow in Corvallis for 3 games. Back to the HarbourCats next series against Walla Walla. Jack Owen is projected as the starting pitcher, and the HarbourCats will be looking for a solid start out of him. He's been very good on the season so far. Jordan Kassar is in scoring position at second base. No balls and a strike to count. Claunch on the ground to third. Davis Wenzel with time, and that is the inning. So Rad Thomas comes in and does a nice job. Victoria still trails 13-4 through 7.5 on Go Live broadcasts. Bottom of the 8th at Royal Athletic Park. It'll be Ethan Lopez to lead it off for Victoria. 6 more outs for the HarbourCats here, who trail 13-4. And Lopez fouls that one off on the first pitch. And you know, back-to-back blowout losses isn't going to sit well with head coach Brian McRae. So the HarbourCats, again, with 6 more outs to try to, at the very least, make this scoreline a little more respectable. Jacob Frick is the new pitcher on the mound for Corvallis. Big left-hander at 6'4", 240 out of Western Oregon University. Reaching out and fouling it off is Lopez. It's 1-2. Frick from Glide, Oregon has appeared in 4 games this season for Corvallis, has made 1 start. A 5.40 ERA, a 1-1 record. This one comes inside and hits Lopez, so the HarbourCats have a leadoff base runner here in the 8th.
Number 10, Bryce Bonner.
Frick as well came into last night's ball game, worked an inning and a third, gave up 1 earned run on a hit and a walk with 2 strikeouts. Here is Bryce Bonner, and he takes outside on the first pitch. And now Bonner takes a rip on the second, but fouls it off. Ball and a strike. Bonner is 0 for 1. He came in as a defensive replacement for Riley Guntrip. Nick Maroney waits on deck. He also came in as a defensive replacement for the second baseman Cole Weiss. Another foul on that last pitch from Bonner. It's still 1-2 as Frick comes set and delivers. And that one bounces to the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. On first base is Ethan Lopez. He was hit by a pitch to lead off the inning. 2-2. On the ground to first. Tough hop. The out is made by Matthews. Throw down. Not in time. So into second safely is Lopez. The tag had to be applied by the shortstop covering the bag, Jack Kuzma, since Matthews stepped on the bag to take the force out of the equation at second base. So good composure there by Matthews to not be phased by the bobble and still get the 1 out. Here's Nick Maroney, 2 for 2 on the season with 2 pinch hit singles. Batting 1,000. And Maroney takes a strike. I know it's only a matter of time until Maroney records an out, but batting 1,000 is pretty fun while it lasts. Oh and 1. And Maroney takes for ball 1. One ball and 1 strike. On the ground to second. And Kelly throws on to first to retire Maroney for the first time here in 2017. Over to third goes Lopez with 2 away. And here is Harry Shipley. First pitch to Shipley misses for ball 1. And the 1-0. Shipley fights it off back to the screen. Ball and a strike with Lopez on third, 2 outs. HarbourCats, again, looking to try to make this scoreline a little more respectable and get a run or two across. Shipley fouls it off his foot, and that doesn't feel good. Looks like he'll be able to walk it off. Always a concern when you foul that ball off the inside of the foot or ankle or even the shin. One ball and 2 strikes on Shipley with Davis Wenzel in the on-deck circle. And 2 outs in the inning. Lopez 90 feet away from home at third. Frick takes a peek and now comes home. On the ground to short. Running hard is Shipley. The throw is in time. Good strong throw from Jack Kuzma to end the inning as we head to inning number 9 in Victoria, 13-4, the Knights lead. Ladies only night at Royal Athletic Park. Most of the fans in attendance hanging around despite the scoreline in this one. And with it being ladies only night, it's only fitting that Claire Eccles is coming into the game for Victoria. Eccles on the season, combined with her non-league start against Kitsap and her one appearance in the league against the Wenatchee Apple Sox, she has a 7.20 ERA in 5 innings pitched and fires across a strike to Cole Johnson. Eccles being tasked with working the 9th inning in a 9-run ball game. So a low pressure situation here and a chance for the fans here in Victoria to see Eccles pitch. That was a swinging strike 2. Nothing into the count on Johnson. And the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, blocked by Bonner. It's 1-2. An interesting side note, Eccles in each of her appearances so far has pitched to Riley Guntrip as the catcher. Bryce Bonner is back there right now for the HarbourCats, so it'll be an interesting dynamic to see how they work together. Always difficult being a catcher of a knuckleball pitcher. We know for Toronto Blue Jays fans out there, when R.A. Dickey was a Blue Jay, he had his own personal catcher, Josh Tolley, catch him on his days in the rotation when it was his turn to start. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that one misses for ball 3. Count is full to Cole Johnson, 3 balls and 2 strikes. This one hit softly to third. That is going to stay fair. A tough luck hit for Eccles to give up to Cole Johnson. And for Johnson, that's his 3rd hit of the night. So a nice game for Cole Johnson, 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored and an RBI. And the Knights have a leadoff base runner for Darren Nelson. Nelson 1 for 4 with a pair of runs scored and an RBI. And the first pitch, a strike to Nelson. On deck is Jack Kuzma for the Knights. 0-1 well outside, gets away from Bonner, and up to second base is Cole Johnson. It's one thing in her 2 appearances, Eccles has proven that when she can throw strikes and get that knuckleball across, that it's been very difficult to hit. But when Eccles has gotten into trouble has been when she starts to lose the command and walks some batters. Swing and a miss by Nelson. And it's 1-2. And case in point, when Eccles throws strikes, it's difficult to hit that knuckleball dancing around. Just the walks that have been the main factor that has hurt Eccles so far. 1-2. That one missing well high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Aside from the knuckleball, Eccles also features a fastball and a curveball. Two and 2. Nelson, well hit into center field, and that's down for a hit. Getting it back in is Lopez into second base. The runner Johnson will stay put at third, but there are runners on the corners with no outs. The knuckleball for Eccles is in the mid-60s. She also throws a curveball down in about the same range. And the fastball, it's up around high 60s to 70 miles per hour. This one missing well inside. 1-0 to Jack Kuzma. Pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Runners on the corners with nobody out here in the top of the 9th. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Bonner. And it's 2-1. Again, not easy being a knuckleball catcher or catching a knuckleball pitcher. Always have to be on your toes. 2 balls and a strike. Into center field, coming in is Lopez, and he makes the play. The throw in will hold the runner Johnson at third. So it's a fly out, not quite deep enough to score Johnson. And that's the first out for Eccles here in the 9th. So the top of the order now for Corvallis. This is the 5th time through, I should say the 6th time through. Alcantar is 2 for 4. Up the middle, off the glove of Eccles to the second baseman Maroney. Glove flip on to first, and not in time. Close to a double play, but the run comes across to score. Eccles not quite able to get out of the inning. A nice glove flip from Maroney to the shortstop Harry Shipley. The throw on to first was just a tad late. And staying out of the double play to pick up an RBI is Alcantar. Runs very well, does Alcantar. So it's a 14-4 ball game. First pitch is popped up. Bonner back behind home plate, puts it away, and that's the inning. So Claire Eccles comes in, gives up a run, but gets out of the frame. Victoria trails 14-4 as we head to the bottom of the ninth on Go Live Broadcasts. Davis Wenzel will lead off the bottom of the ninth for Victoria as Jacob Frick is back out there for the final 3 outs of this ball game. Knights wrapping up a 14-4 lead, trying to keep it that way for another big margin of victory as well. Last night winning 12-4. And the 0-1 misses upstairs, a ball and a strike to Davis Wenzel. We look around the West Coast League tonight on this Thursday evening. A lot of similar scores, a lot of runs being put up around the league. Wenzel with a big swing and a miss. It's 1-2. At Joe Martin Field in Bellingham, it's the Bells leading the Kelowna Falcons 6-4. That will pull Bellingham into a tie with Kelowna for first place in the WCL North Division. Wenzel hits it well to right center field. Back is Travis. He's not going to get it. Rolls all the way to the wall. Wenzel will stop at second, but it's a leadoff double as Davis Wenzel continues to swing a hot bat for the HarbourCats. As mentioned, Bellingham in front of Kelowna 6-4. That's in the top of the ninth. As well, the Gresham Grey Wolves lead the Wenatchee Apple Sox 15-2. Also in the top of the ninth, and in the bottom of the 8th inning at Civic Field in Port Angeles, it's the Lefties in front of the Bend Elks by a score of 12-9. So if you like runs, a good day to come out to a West Coast League ballpark. Swing and a miss on a foul tip into the glove on the first pitch by Frick to Tucker Johnson. Davis Wenzel stands on second after a leadoff double, hard hit to the right center field alley. Johnson looks at a strike. It's 0-2. Frick comes set and now delivers. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to Johnson. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And my mistake, that's not Frick out there on the mound. It's actually Chase Kaplan, number 41, not number 44. Kaplan is into the game for the 9th inning. He's 2-0 with a 1.42 ERA. Has appeared in 5 games so far this season with a save. Tossed 6 in the 3rd innings, 8 strikeouts. Has not allowed a walk and has surrendered 6 hits on the season. So the lefty Kaplan out of Kansas, headed for his senior season out of Hillsboro, Oregon. And there's a strike to Tanner Rempel. Rempel pinch hit for the DH Kevin Collard, and so he is making his 2nd trip to the plate. And held up on the swing. Pitch ran inside. It's 1-2. Or check that 1-1 count to Rempel. Wenzel on second with Jake Gorella to follow. And the 1-1. High and tight, 2 balls and a strike. Rempel again, still looking for his first hit as a HarbourCat, through 9 at-bats now. Always feels good to get that first hit out of the way. Feels like a big weight off your shoulders. 2-1 gets to the backstop, and the big ricochet comes back to the catcher, Troy Clonch, so Wenzel will stay put at second. As mentioned, Jake Gorella waits in the on-deck circle, followed by Riley Zajac. 14-4, the Knights lead the HarbourCats with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. 3-1 to Tanner Rempel. Outside, and there's the walk. So Rempel reaches base. Wenzel is on second, so 2 on and 1 out for Gorella. And on the mound for Corvallis, it looks like Kaplan was a little bit frustrated with himself. With the big lead, there's no reason to be working on the corners. Kaplan has the luxury of being able to come after these HarbourCats hitters, even with the 2 runners on. First pitch is a good breaking ball in for strike 1. DJ Porter has come out to the on-deck circle, so he will hit for, for Zajac. Gorella is at the plate, and the 0-1. Popped up, and this will get out of play onto the roof of the grandstand behind home plate. Nothing in 2 to Jake Gorella. Gorella tonight 1 for 3 with a run scored. HarbourCats have 10 hits as a team, but just 4 runs. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And quickly 2 down now for DJ Porter, as he represents the last hope for Victoria.
Number 42, DJ Porter.
Davis Wenzel on second, Tanner Rempel on first. Wenzel doubled to lead off the inning, and then Rempel walked. But 2 outs in the frame, and Porter takes the ball, gets in behind the catcher Clonch, but not far enough to allow the runners to move up. The Knights don't want to leave Royal Athletic Park the way they've been swinging it the past 2 days. But as mentioned, they head home for a big series against Bellingham. There's a strike on Porter, just catching the corner. 1-1. HarbourCats on the flip side will be looking to turn the page and move on to a clean slate in the series against Walla Walla. There's another strike. It's 1-2. HarbourCats are going to fall to 9-10, a game below 500. One and two. Porter stays alive with a foul. The records reset for all teams in the West Coast League after the 27-game mark, but there is the playoff spot to be had for the first place team in each division, and that's a great thing to have in your back pocket to lock up that spot in the first half of the season. Ball and 2 strikes. Porter in the air, over towards first base. It'll be the second baseman, Kelly, and he puts it away to end the game. The Corvallis Knights come into Royal Athletic Park and take 2 of 3 from the HarbourCats, including 2 blowouts. Tonight, a final of 14-4. It's the Knights 14 runs on 12 hits and an error. The HarbourCats 4 runs on 10 hits and 3 errors. We'll be back tomorrow for game 1 of 3 against Walla Walla. But for now, for Chris Jaycox in the truck and Jonathan Hodgson, my name is Mike Edwards, saying so long from Royal Athletic Park in Victoria.